of boxing for the IBF Super Bantamweight Championship of the World. And it's all brought to you by International Boxing Hall of Fame World Champion fighter Mr. Barry McGuigan and CWM Cyclone, with sponsorship by CWM FX in association with Top Rank Incorporated. Sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, steward in charge, Mr. John Williamson. Board representative, Mr. Robert Smith. Representing the International Boxing Federation as supervisor tonight, Mr. Lindsay Tucker. At ringside, the three judges, should this contest go the distance, scoring will be from Lancashire, United Kingdom, Phil Edwards. From New Jersey, USA, Joseph Pasquale. From Quebec, Canada, Monsieur Benoit Roussel. And the referee in charge of the action at the bell, from Doncaster, England, Mr. Howard Foster. And now, the officials are at ringside and they are ready. The fighters are in the ring and they are ready. Boxing fans, are you ready? Belfast, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, from Belfast, Northern Ireland, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, with his head trainer Felipe Avalos, wearing white with gold. He weighed in officially at 8 stone, 10 pounds, a.k.a. 122 pounds. His professional record, an outstanding one. 25 victories, including 19 knockouts, only 2 defeats. From Lancaster, California, USA, the IBF #1 ranked Super Bantamweight challenger in the world, Chris the Hitman Avalos. And across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, with his head trainer Shane McQuiggan, wearing blue with gold, officially going in at 8 stone, 9 pounds, 9 ounces, a.k.a. 121.8 pounds. A perfect professional record consisting of 19 fights, 19 victories, including 13 knockouts. He is the undefeated, reigning, defending IBF Super Bantamweight champion of the world, the fighting pride of Belfast, Northern Ireland, the Jackal Frampton.
MC Michael Buffer has just intoned his familiar pre-fight call for a rumble. Here are the final instructions.
Keep it clean, break straight away when told, and both of you watch your heads in close. Good luck to you both. Tuck them up.
Chris Avalos holding a running conversation with Frampton, who fixed him with a steely gaze during those instructions from Howard Foster. And now we approach the moment that Barry McGuigan said he has found impossible to replace. Since his retirement from the boxing ring, all trainers and seconds have left the ring, and now champ and challenger face one another for the final time before the opening bell. So here we go then, the battle for the IBF Super Bantamweight Championship of the World is underway. Round 1, scheduled for 12. The champion, Carl Frampton, with blue trunks trimmed with gold.
For Chris Avalos, early on in this fight, he has to find a way, if Frampton is going to give him a little movement, which he hasn't yet, to cut off the ring and attack, but attack with a certain amount of caution and be a little bit careful in doing so.
Long left hook is the first scoring blow of the fight from Frampton. And you can bet that every modicum of success that Frampton has will be cheered to the rafters by this passionate partisan crowd.
Frampton staying right in the wheelhouse more early in this first round than I would have thought he would.
And perhaps Avalos being less aggressive than many people anticipated. Now he's onto the front foot for the first time. Frampton with his back skimming the ropes. Avalos continuing to engage in conversation up there in the boxing ring. David Hay mentioned that he sometimes changes stance and he takes a swift right cross from Carl Frampton.
The right hand is a punch that Avalos has been hit with. Martin hit him with it, Romero hit him with it repeatedly, and that's a big punch for Frampton.
Good right cross from Frampton over the low-held left hand of Avalos. Avalos, the taller of the two boxers, 5'7", going against the 5'5" figure of the more compact champion.
And even though he's got the height advantage, Avalos doesn't fight tall. He fights shorter, and that helps Frampton. And you see Frampton getting that right hand in a lot early in this round.
Success with the left hook as well from Frampton. He's well as being a shorter man, he's got shorter arms by some 5.5 inches. But still, Frampton first to the jab. 62-inch reach for Frampton, 67.5 for Chris Avalos.
The difference between these two fighters, one of the differences is the lateral movement and footwork of Frampton. You see early that it's better. Oh my, that's the second time that Avalos has hit on the break.
Howard Foster on it in a flash. And that is a stern, firm admonishment from referee Howard Foster. Chris Avalos is going to have to watch how he conducts himself for the remainder of this round for sure, and the rest of the contest.
Well, I think Foster was correct because Avalos twice hit on the break.
Avalos going downstairs to the body and trying an uppercut. Brings a furious response from Frampton at the 10-second clapper. Well, it sounded, but I doubt whether anybody could hear it. Good right hand from Frampton to end the round.
In round number one, Frampton was able to land a number of very good right hands. And that is the kryptonite for Chris Avalos.
Into the second round. It was a bright start for the champion. Chris Avalos far more circumspect than many suspected he would be, trying to get onto the front foot to begin this second session.
Howard Foster is letting them fight on the inside.
And again, Frampton first to the jab. Good right hand to the body from Avalos. Frampton backed into a corner for the first time. Both boxers made the weight comfortably yesterday, although Avalos had to remove his rather heavy sweatpants to weigh in at 8 stone 9 pounds 9 ounces. Frampton bang on the super bantamweight limit of 8 stone 10 pounds.
And I think Avalos at the weigh-in was trying to get under Frampton's skin so that he would be too aggressive. Frampton has not been too aggressive in this fight. He has been measured.
Good right hand from Avalos. It was rather a slow one over the low-held left of Frampton. Frampton came back with a good shot of his own.
The power of Avalos is for the most part in his left hook.
And Avalos being picked off as he tries to get into short range. Frampton keeping his head out of harm's way, turning it to the side. And now both boxers going to the body. Good left hook upstairs from Frampton.
The thing about Frampton is not only does he have a superb right hand, he's got a great left hook as well. The left hook dropped Hugo Cesar's, but it was the right hand that got Martinez down.
Good left hook of the lead variety from Frampton, circling that left hand down by his belt line now, trying a right cross which just missed the target. Avalos rather clumsy with his forward foray. And now But what has happened here? He's complaining, takes a big left hook. Referee Howard Foster did not separate the two. Frampton took full advantage and nailed the Californian with a big left to the head. Right hook went on the inside as well. Frampton on the onslaught.
Something happened in that clinch that hurt the right arm of Avalos, but Frampton rightfully could move in.
So Floyd Mayweather do the same thing to Victor Ortiz over here in this country.
Now the
Danny Williams almost decapitated Michael Sprott when he looked to have a conversation with the referee. Protect yourself at all times.
And you could see Avalos very awkwardly delivering the right hand. We'll have to see in between rounds if there is an injury to his right hand or his right elbow.
Right hand over the top again with a successful shot from Frampton.
In the last round, here's where Avalos felt that something happened to his shoulder, and he just kind of walked away, and here comes Frampton, who can do that because Howard Foster did not call a timeout.
Lack of concentration from Chris Avalos. He's an experienced boxer. This is his 28th contest tonight. He's boxing since the age of 10, 11 years of age. Trained by his father Felipe. Had a brief spell with the former light heavyweight champion of the world, Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, but reverted to his father after the two really didn't gel. So there can be no excuse for him turning his back like that in the heat of battle.
We'll see if there's any lingering effects of what looked like an injury. Frampton going downstairs with the left hook very effectively.
Avalos trying to respond in kind. But again, it's Frampton shots that appear to be more forceful. But the two boxers stand toe-to-toe in center ring, and referee Howard Foster lets them work away.
And if Frampton can continue to do well in this posture, it's going to be very difficult for Avalos, because that's where Avalos thinks he can make some hay. And both men are throwing lots of shots, but Frampton a little more effective.
Frampton built for this type of inside work. Very compact, very muscular. Beautiful shots to the head. Pulled the trigger rapidly on nose. Counter left hook as he was on the retreat. Avalos trying to get inside behind a jab, but he's rather toying with it. It's not sharp, it's not snappy, it's not potent. It's almost like a man feeling his way in the dark. It's so tentative. Good left hook from Avalos.
Avalos, there's the, and that's his punch. He landed it again. It's kind of wide, but that's his best hope in this fight. And there's the Frampton uppercut on the inside. It's a very good punch for him and could be a factor in this fight.
Well, the decibel level here in the Odyssey has been raised once again. They sense that their man is on top. And Avalos lost his footing after taking a stiff shot from Frampton. Thunderous left hook right on the point of Avalos' chin once again. Action-packed passage here in the third round.
Lots of excitement, and Avalos himself said, I think this is going to be a war. And it is so far.
Avalos' is mouth open now. He's bleeding from the mouth. And his movement, as he takes another stiff right cross, it's slow. It might be almost imperceptible, but from our vantage point at ringside, as he complains about that right arm again, the movement of Avalos continues to slow down. Got through with a left hook of his own, but it was an exchange of shots.
We've seen Avalos land several good left hooks. He's going to have to continue. Chris Avalos was able to land a couple of good left hooks in that round, but you see that had almost no impact on Frampton. Then Frampton with this straight jab that pushed Avalos back. That was actually a power punch, even though it was a jab on him.
So into the fourth round. Been a very bright start by Carl Frampton. Chris Avalos has had his moments, but they've been fleeting when compared to those of the champion. Beautiful single left hand again from the champ. And again, Frampton, despite having shorter arms, continuing to beat Avalos to the most basic of punches, that left jab.
The great Gil Clancy said of his fighter Emil Griffith, who was tremendous with the jab, he was shorter than everyone he faced, but the jab is about timing. And so Frampton, despite the disadvantage, is out jabbing Avalos.
Well, the left hook has, the left jab rather has shaped the course of contest and the destiny of champions throughout boxing. And now it's a right hand over the top that was successful for Carl Frampton. Avalos just appearing a little bit devoid of ideas, and you can see Barry McGuigan up off his seat, living vicariously through the efforts of his charge, Carl Frampton. What a birthday present it would be for the Hall of Famer Barry McGuigan if his man can come through this successfully. 54 years old today, McGuigan. Frampton was 28 last week.
The jab by Frampton, we see some blood. That was a beautiful uppercut by Avalos. Some blood under the eye of Chris Avalos, it appears.
You're already bleeding from the mouth. We'll keep a close eye on any injuries. And again, Avalos continuing to fuss with his belt.
Avalos' body language has not been great in these early rounds. We saw the moment when he literally allowed Frampton to hit him because he was worried about his arm. We've seen him fuss with his belt. We've seen him just be a little lethargic in these early rounds.
And there may be a nick beneath the right eye of Carl Frampton, who just landed beautifully with a right-left combination. Right cross was the lead shot on that occasion. It's becoming an increasingly physical encounter now. Look at the way the bodies and the heads are banging together on the inside. Frampton steals a furtive glance to his corner during the clinch. Corkscrew left jab from Frampton. Such variety being demonstrated on that punch. 1-2 buffeted the head back of Avalos. And he's keen to hold on.
Frampton's right hand has been a major weapon in this fight, and it's because the jab of Frampton has been pretty effective. And there you see it, 1-2 combination.
Right away.
Old school trainers say that a right hand can take you around the block, but a left jab can take you around the world. Frampton has used his beautifully. Left hand on the bell from the jab. The fifth round we go. The venerable Jimmy Tibbs was applying the Enswell iron to the right eye of Carl Frampton during that interval after round 4. Just a little bit of a swelling. It's not leaking blood, but there's just a little bit of a swelling beneath the right orbs of the champion.
Chris Avalos has not been down, but he has been hurt. One of the fights I did announce with him against Giovanni Caro, he was almost out on his feet. Big right by Frampton.
That was a thunderous right cross, and he's backed Avalos into the ropes. The challenger on rubbery legs and going through a significant crisis here in the 5th round. Another right cross flushes home. Avalos trying to hold on, but he's under significant pressure. Howard Foster poised to step in. Avalos trying to fight back, but he's being overwhelmed by this typhoon from Tigers Bay. Avalos on the canvas, but he's wrestled down. And he's a fighter that's beginning to mark up. He's a fighter that's running out of ideas and running out of energy. Carl Frampton on the rampage. Avalos looking to hold on. He's got less than 2 minutes to survive.
A lot of time in this round, and that's an issue for Avalos.
Frampton looking to pick his punches. He hurt Avalos significantly. Avalos now just throwing arm punches. The fighter's being punched out of him. He looks ready to go. Sherwood Machismo as he waves Frampton in. Frampton obliges him and stops the challenger in round number 5. Carl Frampton is cheered aloft by his trainer Shane McGuigan. And now the crowd here in Belfast up on their feet. Carl Frampton has made a successful first title defense of his IBF Super Bantamweight crown with a 5th round stoppage. over the confident Californian Chris Avalos. Barry McGuigan, what a birthday present for the Hall of Famer, rolling back the years as he delivers a right cross in shadow boxing style. And now it is Carl Frampton who takes the applause of this Belfast crowd. Everybody, to a man, woman and child, up on their feet. And the atmosphere here really is incredible. A celebratory one because the home fighter, Carl Frampton, has successfully retained his IBF Super Bantamweight crown.
Wife Christine sharing in the moment. And as Chris Avalos has tended to, the fact of the matter is Carl Frampton gave a better performance than I think even some people thought possible, and justified all the faith of Barry McGuigan and his son, who of course trains Carl Frampton. And Frampton showed us all tonight why he is considered an elite fighter, not just in his division, but in boxing in general. The right hand was a huge weapon for him in this fight. And once he got Avalos in trouble, he was relentless, and he was measured with his punches. Avalos trying to counterpunch back, but couldn't do it. This was at a point where Foster was taking a peek and thinking about what he would do. But then, once Avalos got hit with a couple of big shots and literally is at a standstill after this tumble, is when Foster would step in to stop the fight. The right hands of Frampton were just raining on him. And that's when a wobbly Avalos had the fight stopped by Howard Foster. Well, we talked about the fact that there's power in both the left hand and right hand of Frampton. Tonight, as was the case when he fought Martinez to win his title, it was the right hand that did most of the damage and created a celebratory moment for this huge crowd here in Belfast.
Well, the hitman, Chris Avalos, elected to engage in a shootout with the champion, Carl Frampton. And when the smoke cleared, it was the Jackal who was left standing. He moves on to 20 fights undefeated, 14 wins inside the distance, and he successfully retains his IBF Super Bantamweight title with a performance that will send a message to the rest of the 8 stone 10 division. Plenty of big fights on the horizon for Carl Frampton. He's talked about unification showdowns. The WBA regular champion Scott Quigg is here in attendance ringside. What a tantalizing matchup that would be. Choose your venue, Manchester, right here in Belfast, the neutral ground in London. You can guarantee that the atmosphere would be incredible, and that would be quite a fight.
And right now, Carl Frampton drinking in this moment, and what this crowd right now is showing him in terms of love and affection.
Well, he dealt with the occasion, he dealt with the pressure, and there is significant pressure when you're performing at home. He dealt with all of that and the credentials of the man in front of him and produced a cool-headed, measured punching display to stop his opponent in the 5th round and successfully defend his IBF Super Bantamweight crown for the first time.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we give the official time, a round of applause for this 25-year-old challenger from California, USA, who had the courage to come here to Belfast tonight and face this champion. Referee Howard Foster steps in at 1 minute 33 seconds to call a halt to the fight. The official time, 1 minute 33, round number 5. The winner by TKO, now 20-0, the undefeated IBF Super Bantamweight champion of the world, the Fighting Pride of Belfast, Northern Ireland, Carl the Jackal
That World Championship belt remains strapped proudly and firmly around the waist of Carl Frampton. He is still the IBF Super Bantamweight Champion of the world.